We started the vacation rental business back then quite earlier on year 2011, where that was about 10 years ago. If you all know, that was year and even actually Airbnb has started. So why we start the business is because of simple. We come from a background also from, as being a property owners. So we see the pain of, managing the property, and we see the opportunity in Malaysia. Those actually tourism is still doing pretty well. How can they actually leveraging the tourism actually to bring actually potential guests and maximizing our rental return to property? So this very simple idea we started 10 years ago. Now, time flies, right? So where we have been, in long enough, and these 2 years where we talking to few panelists and members in this room, that we decided, it's time actually to form a professionals community and body, which is this association, where that's why we initiate this and hope through the energy of we gather together, right? Here we can actually talk to the local authority. So this is something about our objective today. Okay, right. So next, back to you.
Thank you very much, Ivan. So for those of you who do not know, right, the reason why Ivan actually get a bit longer time to speak is that he is also the president of MVR. Okay, right. The next person I'd like to invite to do a quick introduction, Judy, perhaps you could go next.
Thank you very much. I have stayed 36 years in the hospitality industry, basically mostly in the hotels. And I've covered operations, sales and marketing, doing international marketing for 3, 4, 5 stars hotel. And I'm official rating officer for Motec, and also a trainer with HRDF. I have now moved on to EvoHost to help hotel manage their digital marketing platform, and we help them to move on to manage website, enhance their product, and marketing, update them on the marketing trends. So I hope that you'll stay with us, and even after this, we'll continue to educate you on the industry.
Amazing. So we have someone from the hotel with 36 years of background. Now, next up, we have also someone really interesting because this is from a tech perspective. Right, we have Mr. Sean. Mr. Sean, perhaps you could do some introduction of yourself.
Yep, sure. Thanks, Jaden. Okay, this is Sean. I'm the Regional Sales Director from Easy. So I think that perhaps that those that knows Easy, that that we've been already in the market for since 2005. So of course that now Easy is a brand that already acquired by Yanoja and is a global brand, and that as compared to the 23,000 customer base, I think in Malaysia is a little bit different. Even though that Easy could be regarded as a hotel brand, but here in Malaysia we're working very closely with the hotel operator, the homestay operator, so that in Malaysia, there are a lot of the, because of the dynamic, the nature, a lot of the operator hotel will also went into this business, and some of the vacation rental owner operator also went into the hotel line. So as a technology provider, we see things happen, so we see the line getting blurred. So I think that in future, these are the things that gonna happen more and more. So to me, I mean, from Easy, we are seeing that this is actually a ecosystem rather than a competitive business nature when we talk about homestay, the vacation rental, and hotel. So we hope to actually have more things, more idea came out, because that thanks to Ivan to actually get us in, form a association so that we can get together and we can actually contribute our voice to actually stand up and actually help this industry. Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Sean. Now, last but not least, can we have Mr. Glenn, the CEO from Covid-19, to do your introduction?
Hi. Covid-19, we are one of the pioneers operator in Malaysia. I believe for those who running B&B in Kuala Lumpur were not knowing us lah. I mean, yeah. So, and we manage a lot of apartments, villas, and hotels. So yeah, we are not only managing homestay, but we do have hotels in our inventories. Yeah. And called B&B, we are aiming to deliver top-notch B&B experience to most of our guests. And we are trying to maximize all the profits of our partners. So that basically is our missions, or is our goal, that is our core values of core B&B. Yeah. And I'm glad that Ivan invite me to the association, because I can see and I can sense that the operators in Malaysia is too, I would say we do not have a place gather everyone's together, and then we need the feedbacks, we need everyone's to join force together to feedback the guidelines and the regulations. Yeah. So or else we are going to get bullied by the hotels. That is something that I want to say. Yeah.
Judy is right up there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Glenn. Now, I guess the first question that we're going to start off, because today the topic for today is really, really exciting and interesting, and for some of you who are really in this tonight, right, you might see certain passion or fire coming from some of you. Okay, so of course we're going to start slow. The first question that I'd like to ask Mr. Glenn is, being an operator. I mean, you and Ivan are starting from operator ever since one of the pioneers in the whole industry, right? So let's go through, like, before the pandemic, before 18 March 2020, right? What were your plans? How were things going back then, and the growth ever since that you started? And you can see the changes and differences that happened right after 18th of March 2020 up to today. So there's a two-part question here. So you can start with before 18 March.
Perhaps I can talk about the revenues, because we measure our performance from the revenues. So we achieved 10 million revenues in 2019, end of 2019. So, and averagely each month we are able to deliver 1 million. I mean, right at the end of 2019, but right after the pandemic, or I should say right after the COVID-19 the explode. So our sales is get impacted drastically. I think the first one I was remember that I, together with my finance manager, we are reviewing a report together. We were so surprised by the impact, because the first month the sales already dropped 70%, and then upcoming 80%, and then now I think we only left 10% from what we're doing in the past. So that is how I see the impact to our revenues. I mean, for the short-term rentals revenues. And in terms of the operations, before COVID, we have a great plan to grow, like to expand to different areas. But after COVID, after the lockdown, for sure that we are no longer looking at the outskirt areas like Malacca, Penang, because as what we know, the intercept travel is still not allowed yet. So that is something that we see that is badly impacted our growing plan as well.
So on revenue, drop basically left 10% from what you guys are usually earning. And
yes.
Then the growth, everything stagnant already. So I guess most hosts are also facing this kind of similar situation. I think even Ivan is also facing this, right? So like Ivan, so what are the things that you guys actually did? I mean, what happened in your company, and what are the challenges that you face, and also how did you manage to still pull through until today?
Okay. I think a great sharing by Glenn as well. What we have been, all of us actually in this market went through the tsunami, right? Roller coaster, up and down. So there will be never ending of 3 months honeymoon, then 3 months lockdown. So we also never thought that this kind of will last for so long, right? I still remember last year, then people say, end of 2020 market will be recover, right? Remember after the first MCO, there was a scenario where everybody travel, so they can't tahan anymore, so the hotel market was so good. So people are preparing for the recovery plan. So on year end. So, after a year, so we are still struggling. So on, so how to survive, right? Okay, perhaps I'll share on this part. Number one, we were just like what Glenn sharing earlier, and year 2019, all of us should have a very big plan, right? We were even expanding to overseas. We are nearly open an office in overseas. We have a partner in overseas actually has already get ready, signage, registered office and so on. But things actually get worse when actually started MCO. We actually on hold all the plan, right? What we have been action that we taken, just to share a bit, is actually we initially the crisis management immediately during the first MCO. So few area that we take that to make us actually surviving until today was actually immediately we look into what kind of overhead that actually the biggest portion that we need to actually further cut. So we were lucky that in a way we take this action quite very fast, so that we won't bleeding in a way. So that was some action that we taken. And then part two was actually even prior the lockdown, we actually helped the owners to focusing more on mid to long term, where we managed to helping certain owner convert the property into secure some mid long term. So this is some of the things that we have done during the first MCO. So in short, what I would try to say was that sometimes during that critical moments, fast decision is very important. You have to actually take immediate fast decision. You couldn't actually drag too long. So whether you want to hibernate, and I still remember quite numbers of big 4, 5-star hotel. When we hear news in market, oh, this big hotel also actually shut down. But to what people see from outside, that seems like they are closing down, but somehow actually they are do hibernating, right? So actually it tells us one thing, that if you couldn't run this scenario, so you're going to stop your cash flow, you had to actually make a very critical decision. So this is something which actually we have done. It helped us actually in a way, surviving until today. Of course, last but not least is that the whole 1 year after pandemic, right? So a year until today, we seriously learn about two things. One, the business had to be go for very, very lean model, right? So, you had to, how can you run a business with very, minimum cost possible? And of course, last but not least is that leveraging on the technology, the tech, right? To minimize all these operational problems that you have in the past. So we had to change in a way, right? This is in some of the short form hope that helps you, give you some ideas.
So you sort of use tech to automate a lot of your things to
Yeah.
make sure the whole company is running lean lah. So I
Yes,
guess I mean Ivan has given a lot of great tips to everyone indeed. Like his short speech over there already. So guys, so the first thing is basically you need to make decision fast, and of course your units, if you're still holding on to them, change them to mid to long term rather than just holding on to short term rentals and then expecting the whole industry to recover. So you can just make the decision to rent it out for mid or long term. So this is one of the solutions that we can do. Of course, I would like to ask also because like 1 whole year have gone through already, right? And I believe this question I'd like to direct it to Judy. So throughout the whole year that has happened, right, and you can see a lot of trends up and down. Suddenly when MCO open, RMCO, everyone travels again, and then suddenly close again. So what are the advice or strategies to sustain that you have actually helped hotels or even homestays to survive through the whole the whole year that has happened? So what are the strategies or tips that you can actually provide to them?
Okay, thank you. Actually, the hotel industry has gone on a roller coaster, and there's up and down throughout the years. We were so looking forward for recovery with the opening of the interstate traveling, but because of the lockdown, the business went down to less than 15%. Most of our hotels are experiencing very low occupancy. So what happened after COVID, or what happened now? What are you going to do about it? You cannot just sit still and wait for it to open, because we really do not know when we will recover, fully recover, and back to normal. So in the meantime, I think that you should look at the marketing strategies that you want to implement. Like you have actually loyal customer that is already in your database. You need to purge and look through all your old database, find out who are your frequent supporters, and put together a program for maybe a loyalty program to keep them continue to support you. Then you also need to leverage on social media marketing. That's why now we are moving from a bricks and mortar and then now to digital marketing. Digital marketing can be driving the business to your own website and to communicate with direct marketing like emailing, WhatsApp marketing, and Instagramming. So all this communication, I think, is very important to tell them that you are still in business and you are observing the SOP. You are a clean hotel, you are a safe hotel. All this must be communicated to your client so that when the recovery comes, they will remember you. So you have to practice some projection where maybe you can use a trend setting. Hoteliers are very good at setting their forecast according to the trend. So use back that, and you have a few scenarios that if you are doing, the market is doing 20%, 50%, 70 or 80%, you have different plans for different level of business. So that when you get ready all this, you know at this level what type of operation strategies you need to do. You don't come to the moment and then you start planning. So I would advise you to do that.
So
again, again, and I think that a very important thing is to drive the business to your own website. Your website is your shopfront. So you got to do some staging of your own website, staging of your room, making it look refreshing. All these are the things that you can do during this period.
Mm-hmm. So some of the key things that we can look into is to look through our previous database, and of course database,
Yes.
meaning to say that you need to go through all of your booking platforms and look through all of your past reservations. What kind of guests, what kind of bookings do you get, how long booking window, length of stay, these kind of things, so that you can actually do you can actually plan for the future, right? And of course, another thing is that if you have been keeping a good tab of your customer database, you can turn them into your loyalty program, right? And then to keep on doing EDMs or email blastings, WhatsApp blastings. And once things are ready to come out, people are ready to come out, they can straight away book a unit to go for travel, right? And but one thing I'm really curious. But this I'd like to go more into tech perspective, because if you're looking into trends, data, right? I'm sure, Judy, you have been through a lot of data, a lot of trends, a lot of projections, but maybe some of them are more directed to certain hotels in certain areas with certain positionings, then they're able to capture certain kind of market, right? But let's talk about something more general throughout Malaysia, or even in certain different areas. I'd like to ask Sean about this. Throughout the whole past year, right? What kind of trends that you actually have seen, okay, and what kind of trends or projection that we could actually expect for maybe the coming 6 months to even 3 to 6 months lah.
Thanks, Jaden. This is a very big question. I'm not sure that whether I could handle it. But just based on my 2 cents, because as now we're actually working on that. Yanoja is actually working very closely in that. Malaysia is actually one of the key market, and Yanoja has been working very closely in as a travel tech company. He was actually trying to look into this SEA market. How does it actually work? And also, of course, that come down to Malaysia level. So, and I couldn't represent at Yanoja, but I just share some of the things that we actually been discussed. Because overall speaking, the Easy parent company doesn't actually stop. We still actually continue on the exploration and of course, that hotel IoT or even that this IoT, it is suitable also to actually work in this vacation rental space. So because all this data, right, eventually we wanted to track down to like the purchasing behavior, how they actually turn. So these are all these are things actually valuable. And if we actually look at other what we call the facts and figures, like the construction index, or even you actually look at the trend that actually happens in China, all these indicate that the tourism industry is still there. It's just that we've been stopped by this restriction of movement, but eventually it's gonna be revived. But the thing is that, of course, that the short-term challenge that we are facing now is that the low purchasing power, as well as the demand is low. We're not gonna go anywhere. So it's just that suppressed from what I'm seeing now. But eventually, these are the stage. I mean, from easy, what we do is that, of course, we have the operator that continue operating or keep it low profile, keep it to the very minimum operation, and waiting for the time to come back. So these are the stage where all the preparation been done. Like do more, just like as Judy had mentioned just now, do more analysis into the data, because this is a good time to really look at it. And secondly, if we actually look at the IT system, I'm not promoting the easy system, but I just want to say is that there are a lot of systems out there. I need to actually mention that there are a lot of systems out there where can actually help you to manage your human resource, even manage your headcount, HR, and even the operation, right, with a very affordable pricing. So they are. So can actually have a look out and see that whether those actually can suit into your company's culture. And because of, compared to 5 years back, right, it is so much cheaper now, and it's so easy to actually get hands on. So all this, right, is actually another tools that we can actually use. And these tools are so easy to really pack into your company's processes, so that you can actually easily use that to actually manage the data. So eventually, and of course now, if you actually look into the industry now, a lot of people talking about the self-check-in kiosks. So if you talk about the sensors, IoT, even the energy saving. So if the gas is not at in the room, so it will actually cut off the aircon. But bear in mind, all these sensors are sensitive enough to track whether someone is actually sleeping, because they can even track the airflow even when you are sleeping without snoring. They can even track the airflow. So good time to prepare, because in the industry, the we're just waiting lah. But take this time just to see. Of course, the cost cutting is actually one way, but the other thing is actually the preparation lah. So make full use of this. Get more look more into the tools, or all this at the hotel data, to what level that you can actually go down. The more you understand your customer behavior, then the next step is that for you to forecast. Then customer loyalty, or even the EDM, these are just the next step, because that without the core mindset of doing the forecasting, right, you're unable to really like putting up a really good KPI on all these at EDM, or even the campaign that you're going to run. Okay, this is actually my thought lah.
So in fact, I think a lot of the panelists, I think all four of the panelists here also agrees that right now, whenever there is a slowdown, whenever there is a suppression of tourism, right, it's a very good time for you to not just rest, but also to take a step back, to look into your data and to reflect and to do certain projections for the future. And of course, as you go along the way, right, I hear a lot of from Sean, a lot of amazing ideas, for example, like kiosks, self-checking kiosks, IoTs, these kind of things, right? So as we go along the way, right, what are the some exciting techs or ideas, right, that we should actually, or maybe we could implement into the vacation rental space, so that you can actually have a better edge to prepare for future tourism. For example, like recently I heard about VR traveling into your space. So what do you think about tech like this? Is it good for the ROI, or is it something exciting, or is it something you can explore? Can anyone that would like to take this?
Yeah, I think I can share about this. Just now mentioned was actually the VR, right? I did mention earlier some of the tech, right? So I guess Julian just highlight, we actually started using VR quite even back then to year 2018, we started to use VR 2018, but somehow that during this pandemic, actually it does help us. And I think we have actually a participant asking about the question after convert to mid to long term. Okay, I'll come back to that question. But very lucky that before lockdown, right? I think most of actually our inventory and properties we have actually shooting the VR during the whole lockdowns period, and despite we couldn't travel, but the prospect inquiries, guest, tenant, whatever it is, they still manage to see properties via the VR. And this actually does help us actually to secure tenant. And because people nowadays, they couldn't just make decision based on a few photo, right? This is some of the cases that tech does help us in a way. Especially we are running like vacation, is apartment, right? It's not only for a small hotel room, 4 piece of wall, but people want to feel how it looks like, where was kitchen, the living ambience and so on. So VR actually seriously help us to do conversion. And people can just via VR, they see the experience, they make a decision without physically travel there.
Is it
So
through
this
your
is
website? Through your own website?
yes. We actually we put a VR into all our websites, right? In short, so to answer just a friend asking,
Yes.
saying that Eric, right?
Yes.
To answer in short that yes, you've asked me, I will answer you in such a way that why we convert to mid to long term is simple because of like I said, the day one when I started the business, I totally come from an owner background, right? We have to always ask about this question is that what did owner really want? As being an owner, I can tell you, they will definitely will tell you that please don't let my property vacant. Simple as that. As long as you have someone staying, paying rental, I don't mind even lower. So, because of that, we understand what owner wants, right? From owner perspective. So we help them convert it to long term. Yes, the rental RI could be lower from prior COVID, which is on the tourism market. But somehow, owner after convert to the mid to long term, and we have properties that people are staying for 1 month. But who knows, after a year plus today, they do kind of month to month extend until today. So that's actually the to answer a friend here. So you couldn't see a big, don't think about so how much I can make. Don't never think on from the perspective after I help owner rent out for a long term. So how much I can make. It's not about how much you can make now. It is actually how can you help owners. And from throughout this process, perhaps you make a very little small fees, right? So focusing on that right mindset actually, right? This is what we should look into, right? So back to you, Jaden. Yep.
Right. Thank you, Ivan. Again, indeed, a lot of good insights directly from there. One simple question brings out a lot of good insights. All right. So I guess for me to wrap up this first question, the impact of FMCO, right? Also to put in some of our insights as well as our observations from host platform is that because we have been serving a lot of hosts across Malaysia as a channel manager for ever since 2019. So what we can see the moment FMCO hits, right? Number one is definitely everything fell. Okay, so it is needless for me to ask, so how is everyone doing right now? Because we know from the database that we can see is that everything is basically down right now. So ever since then, a lot of hosts is asking, hey, so what can I do? Okay, so here are some of the things that as mentioned by the panelists as well. So what you can do. Number one, perhaps you could change it into, no, not change. Perhaps you could bring in midterm to long-term rentals. Number two, you can actually take a step back to reflect and to also gather your database and to project for the future. But of course, projection, right? You couldn't do 6 months to 12 months anymore. Things might change straight away next month, right? And usually if you see peak season or low season or shoulder season, normally it's like very normal, then peak a bit, after that normal a bit, right? Now you can see very clearly up down like that one. Okay, so it's either you have super good occupancy rate, 80-90%, okay, or you have maybe 0, or maybe you have 20%, like that. Okay, so what you can do right now is also to continue to follow up with the news. Okay, also stay home, stay safe, and also stay optimistic. Go get your vaccination. Make sure everyone also get the vaccination. Then we can go into stage for the phase 3, right? Then perhaps people can start traveling, can see things to increase back again. Okay, so yes, to also prepare, like what Judy mentioned just now, prepare yourself into the digital marketing world. you might not be able to just depend on the booking platforms for your bookings anymore, because you could take more initiative right now to learn about social media, to learn about Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, okay, and how you want to package or brand your personal business, okay, or your short-term rental business into this social media to get in these bookings, right? And I think this is one of the best opportunity for you to learn and pick up this kind of skill. So I believe this is important as well. So talking about the whole pandemic, basically you just have to hold on, and as what Sean has mentioned just now, travel is definitely there. It's being suppressed. And the moment when people are ready, last year I wasn't really sure about this, about revenge tourism, but the moment it opens up, it really opens up. Okay, so we're preparing for this as well, for the upcoming level or upcoming revenge tourism that will be happening maybe end of this year. Okay, of course we will have to continue staying, I wouldn't say positive, because positive is a sensitive word right now, staying optimistic, right? Okay, now moving on to the next question. Let's talk about the regulation of STRA. This topic has been brought up ever since November 2019 by MPC, Malaysia Productivity Council Corporation. So they have came up with a lot of public consultation to do the announcement, to check on, to get feedbacks and everything, right? And suddenly this year, somewhere around 2 months ago, there is a news that pop up saying that, oh, STRA will basically be implemented on September. So before we get into details of that, right, what do you think? That there is actually no answer to this yet, but what do you think? Is it going to happen in September? And any one of the panelists?
Can I answer that?
Yes, sure, Judy.
Okay, I deal a lot with the government agency and like people like MOTEC, Malaysia Tourism Board, and they normally will have a discussion with the relevant bodies or authority if they want to implement such a thing, and it most likely have to be passed through the parliament to legalize it. So I don't think things will happen this year. So we don't really see it because of the the lockdown is so long. They can't sit to convene. All they have done is they had a discussion to legalize certain things. And after that, there will be a lot of processes because it has to do with the SSM, registrar of a company, and then it has to do with the local council. It may have to be to involve the MOTEC for licensing. So these three bodies, besides so many other people like the travel agent industry, hotel industries, and short-term rental industry, they have their opinion, and not to mention JMB. They also have their opinion. So all these are involved, and I can see that it's not happening this year, if to answer your question.
All right, so we have a pretty clear-cut answer, and the reason behind it. So we actually did some questions for those of you who, I mean, inside the registration, right? So the question is that, do you think we should recommend the government to postpone the implementation of STR regulations? So to translate this a bit, do you think the regulation should be postponed? So what we got is pretty interesting. 47.2% says yes, okay. 5.6% says no. The other 47.2% says not sure. So regardless of whether the whole regulations will be in place or not lah. So what do you think, Ivan? Do you think they should or should not postpone?
Right, I think the thanks to Judy now, I highlight some of the important point. We were actually regularly communicating with the government agency since back then, year 2019, right? For the past 2 years, we were communicating with MPC, MDEX, and few other agencies. We realized that this is what I believe, right? At the end of the day, every single entity or business, you have to actually regulated. It can't be running in the business into a gray area, right? So that's for sure. So because of that, we took the initiative as MVR here. We approach, we talk to government, we connect to government. We say, hey, we want we won't hide, we won't stopping government to do this, but rather we want to involve, right? So we want that regulation at the end of the day is must actually have a fair game. It protect every single party, right? Because we can't avoid, so the day will come, right? Just like e-hailing, the day after taxi driver was so hate about Grab many years back, remember? So you got to accept the fact that the day actually has come, and home sharing market, it will come on the day. But like what Judy say, unlikely it happen for this period. We all know so many reasons of fighting with COVID, and also perhaps also the political issue and so on. So unlikely it will happen. But whatever it will, when is it will happen, this year or next year? But my stand is that let's prepare for that. That's number one, right? So prepare for in the day will come. Are you ready or not? So looking into that direction, we had to make ourselves be professionals, right? And just that. So whatever that the regulation details that has been highlighted so far, that's the reason we were here today. We want to hear, not only for 5 people from this room, but it was really more voices. So government will only talk to actually voices that we have, biggest voices from all of us, but not only for Ivan or from Jaden and Judy. So, I think one of a very sensitive question was the night cap. People, all these hosts today, how can you run business? You kept me at 90 days or 180 days. But
we're going to go into that topic.
We come to that the night cap
special
later.
topic for that later.
Yes, we come to that part later. But
So
in short
many of
summary,
you-
yes, we will agree on the regulation, right? So when was it? We don't know. So we can't control. This is beyond what we can control.
How many of you here inside the participants, right, have concerns regarding the night cap? Give me a number 1 inside the meeting chat. Now, before we move forward, right, I'd like to ask on perspective of a host as well. Okay, this question goes to Glenn. Okay, this question goes to Glenn. Do you agree that there is supposed to should have a regulation for this industry? And what are the things you're hoping to have inside the maybe this question later, but because I started thinking, hey, this thing can go something bigger. But no, we asked about, did you agree that the regulation should be implemented, and why is it important? To yes or to no?
Yes, I'm looking forwards to regulate the whole STA markets, because I think without regulations, they will always benchmark us like illegal business. So that is somehow the feedback I got from the market perspectives. I would say if the government, if the authority is mature enough, they have the ability to develop a system to implement according to the guidelines. I am more than welcome to have these ideas.
A system to implement the guidelines. Okay, that's really interesting. Talking about a system or tech, right? Of course, if you talk about tech, I'll be moving it on to Sean already, right? so
I'm here for the tech question.
or you want me to ask you regarding hotels versus homestay kind of thing?
I think that is a good extension from what Glenn had been spoken about. A little bit of observation of this, because when these STRA things are formulated, of course that it involves the interest of the country, so it's a tax. And if we actually look into this preparation of this STRA, right, it's already been around for a while. They're collecting from different agency, from KPKT, from MOTEC, from even like MDEX actually involved, because they wanted to set the base. You want to have all the database in hand to know that which are the location, and then should proceed with this with this regulation. But the thing is that I believe they actually done enough their homework to actually come up with these things. But just that one weird part is that I think a lot of the operators like us, the host, the operator, these are the stakeholder that have yet to actually contribute the thought into this at STRA. So I wouldn't say we are been neglected, but the thing is that we have to find a way so that to really contribute our thought into it, so that at the end of the day, and it have to be collectively, it have to be as a group. Like just like Ma or even my bar in hotel, they actually represent. But here, when we doesn't actually have this group to actually stand up and to collect all these data, these voices, right, to feedback to say, hey, from your research, it might make sense that nightcap it works in Japan. So, but the thing is that we need another logic from our end to show them, to reflect to them why it is not. So these are the things that I seriously think, because they have a structure to came out with this STRA. So we can't push that away. But the thing is that, to my opinion, is that we need to actually take in consideration from every party, be it the minority, be it the majority, be it the government, be it the public. Even as a guest staying in the homestay, you have your thought also. You wanted to make sure that that's actually safe for you, to have your children stay in the homestay while you go out to grab some bite, and it's actually safe enough for them. So the regulation must be there to protect, but it must be protect the well-being of every stakeholder. That is the thought. So that's actually what I thought of.
In fact, just now, Sean mentioned something interesting about Japan. The nightcap works. I mean, based on their studies. However, I actually did get a different response to that. This is just some personal sharing for those of you who are special, for those of you who are inside here lah. So I received a news from one of the founding committees in the whole STRA the Minpaku law in Japan. After one year implementation, they found that there are some issues regarding the nightcaps as well, because they couldn't actually track it properly. So in Minpaku law, they actually requires the OTAs to send in reports regarding the nights and everything, right? So I actually do agree with Glenn a lot regarding the government should really prepare a system so that they can do a lot of tracking of taxes and basically everything for the whole industry. And I think this is important as well. I mean, this is just something aside to share with everyone as well. So just now, Ivan did spoken about, everyone should prepare for this. Before I go to the next question, I'd like to see from the rest of the people here, the participants. Do you agree? Okay, do you agree that regulations should be set in this whole industry? If it's a yes, in this whole STR industry, if it's a yes, put in a yes inside the meeting chat. If it's a no, you could just put in a no inside the meeting chat. Now, regardless of that anyway, so Ivan did mention about it is important, okay, to prepare for this. And Judy mentioned something really important as well, because wait, this one I think she mentioned to me personally, but now later on I'll get into that. So Ivan, so what are the things that we need to prepare for the STRA guidelines for each and every host?
Right. My personal opinion is that I looking at, so in the past so many years, look at how the other professional body actually they regulates, the business. Look at like insurance agent, right? Everyone knows about insurance, has been so professional for the past so many years. You can't be an insurance agent without going through a proper process. So to get your so-called license, so that you are professional to advise your customers. Then we move on to also real estate agent as well. Now, those days, many years back, I still remember, so everybody also can be a broker, right, to sell property, taking commission from any party. Now, then, since ever this rent has been implemented, professional property agent become very professionals, right? You got to go to yearly renews, attend courses, being more professional. So that's why actually from few others industry that we look at it, same thing to our STRA. When we spoke to the governments, I think I strongly actually propose and agree that we wanted to do this in a professional way, just like we mentioned insurance or property agents. And people saying that, hey, STRA create problems, right? So crime cases lah, people, so much of scam and so on and so on. But I always believe, it might be the small group of actually issue there. So, but at the same time, there are many people like us today here. We want to make this, being a professional. So in that case, I believe education is the most important, right? So, and there's a reason when you look at the MVR's website, we believe about education. So that's a reason I think to get prepared, right? So we also had to be educated, So we even have some discussion recently. Few of us in this MVR with Airbnb, so we discuss about this code of conduct, so topic like this. So how to actually create a standards of this business in market. So this is what we are looking at while waiting for the guidelines to be announced. I think we should actually, get ourselves prepared, do it in a professional manners, right? And then of course do a bit promote, right? So please remember, right? So we will have more and more actually events, right? We invite professional speakers, to come actually to share with us in all manners.
Just now I wanted to ask already. And so how can the association help, to improve the standards, and also what courses are they have? But so yes, so Ivan have already mentioned there will be more courses, and also basically to raise the standards to become more professional in the market. Now, the next question to the professionalism, right? I think this question is really suitable for Judy, being in the hotel industry for more than 36 years. How can we ensure? How come you're like scared already when I say that question?
Okay, I would love to answer the question.
Yeah, how can
Thank
we
you very much.
ensure? How can we ensure that professionalism and standards are met?
Okay, I will give you my experience as a hotelier, because a hotelier are well guided by its SOP. So we have standard operation procedure, and we are well trained from all operations department to the sales and marketing. So we have contributed to HRDF, and we can draw from there to have our trainings. We have internal training, external training. So I think that there is a set guidelines and professionalism in this industry. I really hope to see that the short-term rental business will also achieve that kind of professionalism, so that the customer, the guest, will feel ensured that there is standards being set, in the industry too.
The guidelines
Yes.
are enforced by the associations, or by whom?
No, this guideline we learned from the five-star operator. A lot of us work with the five-star chain. They already have a system. They have the training system. They have all the syllabus and the standard operations procedures. So I think that we can draw out these procedures and share it in the industry. So if the industry like to improve, I think everybody should look forward to this.
Yeah, linking back to just now what Ivan said, education is really important. So through education, we will be able to raise the standards and to ensure certain SOPs and guidelines and standards are met. So we can see that inside the meeting chat, right, a lot of them are saying yes to the regulations. And I have one very, very interesting message from Keith Lai. Super yes to get us regulated. I'm done doing business in the gray area. It's like,
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of
nightcaps,
benefit.
yeah, but nightcaps, hell no. So I think a lot of people are really excited, are really passionate to discuss about the nightcaps. Now, the current nightcaps that is being set in the guidelines is 90 to 180 days, and it depends on different areas. Now, how can we translate that, and what does that mean? Any one of the panelists, and why? Maybe we can have Ivan being the MVR president, right?
Right. Of course, my whatever that I see cannot represent fully from the every stakeholders. But anyway, okay, back to the nightcaps. I think this is a very the concerns that we are, especially on the host perspective, because the moment we know this is unlikely, it can happen to us. Imagine 180 means what? It's like 50%. Meaning to say, I can sell 2 nights, and you can sell 1 night, things like that. It doesn't make sense in business, right? But first thing first, we do understand, we have a chit chat earlier with Judy, some of us prior this event. I say, look at why there's a night cap into this picture first. We have to understand about this very, where it comes from, what is a night cap, such a things implement. I think very obviously, offense, right? Because this is what Judy's saying, that Airbnb market actually has captured the big piece of cake from the markets, right?
But push to Judy already.
Right. And one of the reasons, because of they're accusing that this STRA market, actually you do business without complying this, you pay tax, you pay this and pay that. But despite you still actually doing, taking out the business. So I think there's no secret that that's where actually pressure from the hoteliers, right? So they want to have a fair game. But in short, of course, you ask me, my point is that I do not agree, right? So, but I do agree that we actually paying a tax. We paying whatever that is requires to comply, whether license, tax, and so on, tourism tax. So whatever that hoteler is paying, so if necessary, we like to actually comply and follow. But night cap is definitely no, right? So like the kids say, so no way, right? That's where today we are here. We have to actually gather. We have sent out our voices to the governments, right? From the MVR perspective, that we say no very clearly. At the end, we have done our part. So we hope this is second round. We're going to deliver one more round again, with a bigger voice today. So to say no on this.
How about from Glenn? Can we hear from Glenn on the similar matter, which is on the night caps, and what do you think about this?
Actually, I think it depends on the property type. So in villa, if you talk about 180 days in a year, I think that is pretty awesome. If let's say we manage to rent out 180 days. So our occupancy is usually 30 to 40% in a month. So convert to, days in a month will be less than 10 days. So if following these calculations, 180 days doesn't impact much if in villas. But if you talk about the properties around the tourism attractions, then definitely is going to hit us very bad. And I think there's one conflict as well, because even Airbnb, if let's say you receive one bookings, it might be 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. But if you talk about 180 days, so can we just change 2 different listing, like one listing 180 days and the second listing another 180 days? So I think that is a loophole that I seeing these problems now. But in general, I would say it depends on the property type. If you talk about the commons property that under Airbnb, I would say this is not making any sense, 180 days.
Can I say something on that?
Yes, sure, Judy.
Yes, I totally agree with Glenn, and they cannot look at the average length of stay, because in the hotel, the average length is 1.5, 1.75 days. But the short-term rental business is short-term, mid-term, long-term. So if somebody rent an apartment for a month, then 180 days will be very easily used up. So it makes no sense to that either, right? So I think that this is a business competition. It should be open to supply and demand, and it is up to the property to present themselves in the market to look for the business. That's what I can just say.
So as long as there is a healthy competition, it's fine. It's an open market, right?
I think that when the market recover, it will have a slow climb. I think it won't like straight away, because we are still riding on the roller coaster, but it will eventually come back. Because I just read from a statistic done a survey done by the MOTEC, and it is a 2020 survey. There are still ongoing new projects coming up. I think it's like 76 new projects coming up in these 2 years, in these few years, because of course now it is lockdown is a halt of this development, but the business is coming up. If not, people won't be building more hotels, right?
Actually, that's true.
Yes.
It's like people
So
say no money,
don't
no
be
money,
afraid
healthy
of
Starbucks.
competition. You should focus yourself on how are you going to market it and position your property.
Now,
That's what I can say.
since actually we are also looking into, just now also we did mention about, you know, short term, mid term, and long term, right? And of course, it's like diverging rentals market, or no, not diverging, combining rentals market, long and short, to become one. Now, on the part of tech, right? Is there anything that is being done, for example, like you know, to combine long term rental tenant management system together as well? Would you think this will be feasible or helpful, or will this be something that everyone will be looking into in the future? Can we hear from Sean? Is there a market demand for a hybrid system? Yes. Sean?
Hybrid system as in like
Tenant management, long-term rental management, and also short-term rental management.
of course now the market is actually doing that now. Short term cannot do so convert into the long term lor. Last time it's like long term, the benefit of long term compared to the short term they use better so actually now it's actually because of market condition. Yes, it's actually just like going backwards because of the market condition. Yes, I think the system, most of the system, as long as a decent reservation system, that they're able to actually cater to that, use that. So that's why that we can see that in the OTA platform that showcase. But then again, there's still some of the come to the tactic level, and of course at the promotion level, there are things to fine tune because that to promote the long term and promote the short term, right? It is actually a different way of the promotion. So, but technology wise, yes, totally no issue on that.
Right. So this is actually a sidetrack question. So coming back to the nightcaps thing, right? So Sean, what do you think of the impact of the nightcaps?
Wow.
I mean, everyone have their say already, right? So
Yes.
yeah, your turn.
Well, I was trying to actually see from the perspective like, okay, of course that there are country that until now cannot do this vacation rental, like Thailand. You cannot do Thailand. You cannot do it in Thailand. In Thailand, if you gonna, but the business is still there. So, but they can still go in, but you just need to admit that, okay, this is my cousin brother. So you're gonna stay there for a night. So if that's actually in the condominium, so they will actually do this. And in Singapore, yes, it's not allowed to do this kind of business. So, and if we really wanted to drill into this, right, when we actually talk at this STRA, right, they still have a lot of things that's not inclusive. If you actually look into homestay is not inclusive in STRA. So there's a lot of way to it actually depends on the definition, the interpretation. But then again, of course, a nightcap is actually not healthy in terms of business, because we our thought is that not make sense. You already invested so much in the property, and the thought is that to fully utilize, so that you can not just from the owner perspective, not just for one person, but also for that atmosphere. Imagine that location, if you actually segregate by location, can you imagine that location? It can only do like by half. So how do you gonna invest more to upgrade the whole locality, that whole location as a whole? Because from everyone, whether you are the retailer or you are the F&B provider, anyone, I mean, how are you gonna look at it from an ecosystem perspective to bring out the whole standard? Because these are a little bit like contradict to this. Of course, I think that 180 days nightcap, right, is to preserve the well-being. So it might only on that residential, but then again, how are the value gonna come in so that to it really like increase the level of services that we can actually bring in that location. So I think these are still a lot of gray area that we should actually come and find and define and clarify. So that's why that I'm saying that a collective discussion to bring the voice in to look into all this all this small area. Even like they're actually talking about residential areas, but what is the definition of residential area? These are all gray area that we wanted to find out more. So, and even not just homestay, but there are some other creative, when they actually term it as creative accommodation. So what is creative accommodation? These are still the gray area that we can explore. So
Creative accommodations.
um
What is creative accommodations?
I
That is an
was
interesting term.
surprised. I mean, they were actually trying to term it as in, of course, that under, sorry, it should be the innovative accommodation. So that is actually not included in this. It's a innovative, the exact word to be used, and
Innovative.
innovative at accommodation, which is that, to me, is like, okay. So what are these gray areas to explore? Is that things that for us to like because there's no definition, and it's actually still like waiting for us to like really see. Innovative accommodation means what? Smart home or what? So we don't know yet. But this is actually excluded from this STRA. So these are the things that I think that we could look into. So then it will make sense, because that they already set the exclusion list. So, but do we need to add on to this? They have homestay, they have innovative accommodation. Do we expect to add more? So these are the things that we could really like look into lah. Because a subject matter, since I actually already like put up this document through the very structures and procedure, but let's try and look into all these gray areas, see that how we could actually help us to extend that nightcap thing, so that we can actually do the business as long as possible, 365 days.
Yes,
Can
definitely.
I add a little on that?
You can add a lot, come.
Okay. I think that legalizing the business is very important. People
I
can
agree.
talk about it. People can have a voice, whether for good, for bad. Their opinion can be heard. Now, Airbnb business have no voice. Short-term rental business have no voice. Like MA, we have an association, MA, which is a very strong hotel association, or the budget hotel association. They have a voice with the government. Now, we need a voice to talk to the government, and it's all from the member and for the members. You got to tell the association what's your opinion. The association is a platform to negotiate with the government. I bet you in the panel of decision making that they have decided on what to do with the short-term rental business, I don't think that the association have a very strong voice. So I urge everyone in this business to come out and have a voice for yourself. So you become a bigger voice lah.
Yes.
So whatever the government want to make, they are very fair. They just want to hear from all of the short-term rental operators. They are very fair. They have to hear all parties. So at the end of the day is legalize it.
I agree. As what Keith mentioned, we are done doing business in the gray area, right? So
Yes.
if all of you, if you guys agree that we need to have one voice to be up there together with the government, give me a number one inside the meeting chat. Let's see if you all agree with this or not. Then we can together be the voice to voice out for everyone. So only Keith. Okay, a lot more people also. Okay, right now, okay lah, but regardless lah, so because it is already there, right, 90 to 180 days, we'll still continue the battle to make it as long as we want. Definitely this is what everybody want, right? However, perhaps in the meantime, when it's still not confirmed, what's written there is already 90 to 180. So what are the things that we can actually prepare to still keep up with the whole business, even though there is a 50% cut off of the potential business? What can be done?
I think
I
it
give your
has
time to
not.
think of this. Yeah,
I
Judy.
think it's not put in pen and paper yet.
It's in the guidelines already.
It's just
yeah.
they are talking about it. So I think that we can still present our opinion of whether it is workable.
But supposedly
Because
if they put it there lah, supposedly lah, preparing for the worst lah.
I find hard that it will work lah. Because if you see in the globally, they are trying to do it, and they become very creative in managing the business. So it really,
Jonathan is saying show fake report.
yeah, that's right. It become creative marketing, you know.
What
And
about from definitely creative marketing, creative accounting as well, creative report,
that's right.
What
It's no
about,
point. It's no point. We try to be
yeah,
open and be transparent.
definitely. What about from one of the two of the pioneer hosts that has been going on in Malaysia? Glenn, what do you think? What can you do or what can be done?
Actually, I think nothing much we can do, but if let's say this is going to be implemented, then definitely most of us or most of our inventory, we will prefer to choose to rent it under long-term rental, because end of days, like what Ivan mentioned just now, we have to take care of our owner profits. We can't telling our owners, our partners, like we only do run business on your units for 180 days, and then the 180 days, you just leave it there lah. It's
your
very
10
difficult.
million become 5 million, right?
So now even in nowadays, I mean, after the MCO 2.0, we really form a team to specialists to run co-living within the long-term rental in our business. So we find it is quite okay. I mean, at least we can help the owner to deliver meet their expectations, can generate some monies to pay their installments.
How about Ivan? Any Kang Tao from this?
Okay, if you're talking I think we have shared lots tonight, right? At the end, whether this implementation of the regulation, so whatever it is actually when and whether it yes or no, I will still actually urge and encourage every single friend and host in this business, get prepared. And, at the end of the day, I always believe the day will come where as the client perspective, such as property owners, property owners will only, you look at property agent as owners, as a seller, home seller, actually, you only actually engaging licensing agents with a rent, right, to sell, to market your properties. Now, I think the day will come where actually property owners want to engage you, right? And they will ask you, can you show me your license, right? So are you a legal, proper registered license, right? So that you can run the short-term rent business. So I strongly believe the day it will come. So if you don't get ready, and then you are basically out of the picture. So again, what kind of requirement and guideline to fulfill the get license is beyond our control. So that's where we get to get ready. And last but not least was just now what Glenn says, I think very good points. I think at this point of time, let's actually focusing the purpose of doing this business. And if you still keep thinking about how much I can make from homeowners, right? So forget about it. So this is not a time focusing how much you can make, right? So it's about the time that you think of how can you actually survive first, and at the same time helping the owners, right? Solving their pain point where they have a piece of property, out there that they couldn't actually get rental. Would you able to help him or her? So even to rent out for the midterm. So whether this process you make or don't make is another issue. So this is not a time actually to focusing on make money. This is what my tech actually get prepared and focusing your purpose in this business. If your focusing is how much I can make in this business, I can tell you you're gonna be out very, very soon, right? So at the end, it's only your missions that will hold you and your vision to continue, right? So just like all of us today in this, I think there's a reason actually why actually make us running until today without give up. So always ask yourself what's the purpose in this business.
Ivan and Glenn definitely gave a good point. So in summary is that anyhow focus on helping the owners, and of course stand on your original purpose of going into this business lah. If you are really there to help the owners will understand, and they basically can help you grow as well. And of course regardless of what will happen later on, right? As long as we have one voice, we will still be there to voice out to the government to try to give certain impact and to influence certain changes so that everyone can be to have a healthy competition and even grow in this industry together. So just be prepared, right? Now, we are coming to the end, almost to the end already. It's already 9:25. I'd like to go to the final point of our forum here today. So with all of the announcements, 6,000 plus cases, with FMCO being extended until less than 4,000, expected to go to phase 3 or phase 4 or phase 2, do not know when. So what are the things to be expected next, and how can we prepare? This then will go round table, okay, so that each and every panelist can give some tips and some hints or some kang tao to everyone here, so that we can grow together. So we can start from let's start from Ivan first, of course.
Okay, so keep it short. That few takeaways lah. Just my purely from my personal 2 cents opinion. Firstly, focusing on your existing clients, right? This is what you should do now, and because it is not a time actually to acquire a new business, new customers. Should focusing on which your customer has been trusting you, right, for the past so many years. It is time actually to connect with them, right? So this is something that you should work on. Take this opportunity also, number 2, to learn something, right? I think just now what Judy said has very good. I think recently it was also launching some of the hospitality digital marketing courses. So it is a time actually to learn something, even a skill that you learn that would help you after the market recover, right? Learn something about it. And last but not least, actually, my takes away to a lot of fans online today here is actually, we have said so much tonight, is to stick together, right? This is a time no longer lonely rangers. You get to stick together. With this community, we can help each other, right? We could, so much I think that we can create together, sharing resources, cross-sell links, so much of things. This is a time we should stay together, right? That's why I'll urge every single people here. So please actually, look for us. Then one of the panelists today here on the website, reach out us, actually see how can we work together. So this is my message to the friends today. Okay, back to you, Jaden.
All right, thank you, Ivan. Next, can we have Judy?
I just would like to add that have a mindset that you have to go digital. I think you cannot avoid it. Now everything is paperless, and people are going contactless. They don't want to be crowded with people. They need basic service, and if they need more, they will know how to call you. But you need to be seen in the virtual website or communicated with emails. Everybody read email nowadays, because this is important. All the messages are coming in. And a very quick one is what they call the WhatsApp marketing. Go into WhatsApp direct communication with your client, and do some housekeeping. That is, look at your database and your operation points of view, where you can cut costs and where you can put back digitally. Go digital. I think also have a mindset of knowing that apps helps you. Last time, we don't really use channel manager, for example. Now it's a must. Booking platform is a must. So why not in future checking in from booking and checking in, you'll be all online till the time you leave. Even when they are in the room, they will communicate with you on Messenger. It's possible. And it is good guest service, and you can enhance it. You are always there to answer the phone, but you also give them up-to-date information. through automation, you know. So this is learn to some digital platform. You don't need to use it, but you must understand it. So maybe attend some training. And I think that MVR, the association, is also arranging training program to update you on all these things. I think this is all for the good of the industry. Thank you so much.
How many of you here would like to learn digital marketing or how to go digital from Judy? Give me a Judy inside the meeting chat. Give me a JUDY inside the meeting chat, because I have a really good news for you. Any more? All right. So yes, we can see a lot of sweet Judys. Okay, so guess what, guys?
I specialize in revenue management, yield management, and I have people that does internet marketing, teaching you on internet marketing platform, Facebook Live. All these are very useful tools that you can learn. And as I say, if you do not know how to do it, you need to know about it.
So you don't know me, then you need to know lah.
You need to know about it. Yes.
So here's the good news to everyone here, right? That actually typing Judy inside the meeting chat, right? Is that Judy, we will be organizing in fact a course on this, okay, at the end of July, and you know, if especially done for the members of MVR, and it will be basically it will be done just for you guys lah, right? So for those members that right now that is with us, that thank you very much for your support, and this is some of the things that we'll be organizing to provide more support and education for the whole industry in the short-term rental space, right? Thank you very much, Judy.
You're welcome.
Right. Now, can we have Mr. Sean on what to expect next and what are the things that we can do?
Okay. Okay, what to expect next? I think as talk about this like technology perspective, I believe that in the vacation rental, right, it is that a lot of the operator, a lot of the hosts, they are actually more well-versed. You're actually good in tech as compared to the hotel industry. And that just that for the tech, right, but speaking generally in for Malaysian market, a lot of the company still actually use the IT as an operational tool, but not a strategy tool. So just imagine that this strategy, this IT, right? It is your mainframe, your main brain, because now the technology is actually so affordable that you can analyze a lot of things. You can do a lot of analysis. You can actually dissect your customer, not just your customers' data, but also your inventory. You can do forecasts, and this is not something that you need to pay a lot to actually use it. But the thing is that you need to actually know the workaround, I mean, what you wanted to use it for. So of course, the customer is actually one part of it. So, and I would suggest that trying to actually get more information on all this, either from the like-minded or even like involved in the association. We will actually time to time we actually update some of the things like not necessarily from easy, but we have like instead of self check-in kiosk, we have even like the self check-in portal. All of these things where the customer can directly, without, it is like totally contactless. You can just from the looking to booking to even the staying in, right, without need to actually have any contact. You can just go in, out, but all the record, all the validation needed, right, is already there. Just accept that if you wanted to go beyond this to really like have a smart camera to really take out the image file, yes, again, that could be done. So I mean, all this can be strategized. Try to look into IT, not just from the operational perspective, but how he can actually help you to win your business, expand your business. So this will be, I say this because that I see that a lot of the application is already become a tools, a very simple to use tools, and it can simple enough to plug into your work process. So this is my thought that I wanted to share lah. Yeah.
I thought this is also one of the things you are going to teach all of us, right? All the updated tools, you know, and how we can do it.
what's the expected trend, top 10 spend.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We can
Yeah.
definitely organize that. Not from products perspective, but from the trend perspective. What are the latest technology being used in US, in France that actually get a lot of attention and actually win a lot of customer to come in? So I'm more than willing to actually share that. So we can have that kind of workshop together. So for the well-being lah. See,
Yes,
right?
I think it's
especially for
useful, very
MVR
useful.
members.
Yes, very useful.
Because we constantly have all this information in hand, we have this sharing, we have this use case, this case study that even have a very concrete data, or after they have this resolution come in, right? In increase of how many of the incoming arrival. So I hope to share this more in future, right?
And I also think that in the group that we have, there are also some expertise, I'm very sure. And you can also share with us what you have learned. I think this is interesting to get updated.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Sean. Thank you very much, Judy, for the extra spice on it. Now, last but not least, we have Mr. Glenn from Kobe and Become. What are the things to expect next, and what can we do about it?
Let me keep it short. So maybe I would just speak on behalf of the host perspective. So what we're doing now is actually we look back at what we are good at. We trying to find what is the core of Kobe and B, trying to reduce as much liability as we can, and because we know that the market will going to pick up, and perhaps it will pick up slowly, or it will follow back our last year's. I mean, what happened in last year, the revenge travels. If that is happening, I mean, in last year we did not expect that. So we did not allocate enough manpower. We there are a lot of processes. I was saying that there's a lot of process that we did not prepare for the revenge travels. So if we knowing that it's going to recover, we should prepare to create the process again, to review the whole entire company process, or for your daily operation process, to making sure that when the travels demands is coming back, then you are able to capture, or else you are going to like looking at people's and you're going to lose another opportunities lah. Yeah, so I would say that is something that we're going to do, and yeah.
That's actually very true. What Glenn mentioned, because last year during the first MCO itself, right, 18th of March, once the announcement actually happened, right, and we did the first an online short stay summit for a lot of hosts, approximately 300 to 500 packs that turn up online. It crashes the system because first timer, right? Then even we invited Google, and Google also said this, really to prepare ourselves to be digitalized, okay, to go into social media, to put yourself into more platforms, okay, and to prepare yourself in Facebook, Instagram, this kind of social media places, so that the moment when tourism recovers, you will be the first one that is being seen, and this gives you the opportunity to get in more reservations and bookings the moment when things are recovering. And that really happened on June, July, August, September. Everything went up really fast. A lot of our hosts saw this trend as well. So same thing again, be prepared, right? Be prepared. Okay, so now what we're going to do is that we're going to open up for questions from the participants to the panelists. Okay, so if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, okay, you can just put it inside the meeting chat, and we will basically go through them. Okay, so usually to the panelists, right, usually they will take a bit of time to write their questions inside the meeting chat, because sometimes it might be long. So so while you're waiting, right, any other things that you'd like to add on? Oh, Keith already prepared the questions. Just post it here. Yes, just post it here. All right. Keith is really enthusiastic. There are other organizations to unite homestay operator too. Which should we follow and listen to ultimately? Yes, Ivan. I believe this one is to Ivan. Right, Keith?
Right. You see back then to actually why today the association were here today. I have been actually waiting for, looking forward to have, form an association together with a group of people where I believe the directions and an objective association must be actually met, right? I think, as I said earlier, some of us also said it earlier. The day actually we're looking forward. We want to be a professionals, right? Also, educations in the STRA market. But however, we couldn't actually see this alignment or perhaps direction and objective. And there's a reason actually, I think when we talk to few founding operators in this MVR, we all agreed that. So there's a reason actually why we formed this. And there are, yes, just like what Judy said, there are multiple also hotel association out there, right? We welcome, we welcome actually to work with any other association. That's our stand. But whatever it is, at the end of the day, I think importantly is that, so we are very clear about the objective of this, right? This association. If you look through our website, clearly stated, I think Jaden also said it from opening of this event. So what's the objective? That's the reason why we formed our own association, because we want to do something that about, so what we want to do. And if there are any, even currently, frankly, we also connecting with few association as well, few others like Homestay Association. Of course, due to the MCO and lockdowns, so there's not much of activity currently, we kind of collaborate, but we do connected. Okay, we do connecting to each others.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you,
okay,
Ivan.
thank you. Hope that answer you.
All right, how about the rest of you? Do you have any other questions that I'd like to ask the panelists, or even me also can, right? So you can just put inside the meeting chat as well. If you may want to ask me, and just put my name there. So Jaden has been asking the questions tonight.
I think to add on was that to make sure that every time we attend an events, so they always actually have either today we will have a fit to stay connect together, or perhaps this is the last chance that we get to know each other today. But if you think that the community, the association that we created today is what you are looking at, actually we invite you at least actually please follow us in our social media, right? So because we couldn't actually sometime updating you what is happening, but at least we're going to update immediately in our social media first. So at least you follow through our social media, right? So we will have a lot of things that going to be kickstart, going to roll in market, such as we connect to the government agency as well, to bring in some of the values, things that we can help, perhaps learning, educations, things like that. So we will update via social media. So please actually stay tuned, follow us via social media first.
Okay, looking at the chat, right? On the same page, on your direction, we'll definitely get in touch. Thank you very much, Joey. Okay, so seeing on the chat, likely there is no other questions. Okay, maybe a lot of the things have been answered by the panelists during the forum itself. So okay, so I'm gonna count to like 3, 2. Okay, so there's no other questions coming from the participants. Can you ask about tax? What do you like to ask about tax? Keith. In the STRA or SPRA? Okay.
Tax structure.
You mean the tax for STRA? Okay. So does operator have to pay taxes, and how, and what is the details there?
Anybody want to answer this? Or okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, if Judy, you have.
All right. Hoteliers pay tax, like it's a sales tax. We pay sales tax. So, and we pay the tourism tax, the $10 tourism tax, and some of the, like Malacca, Penang, have their own council tax system. And there's another one that's a digital tax. So these are the main three taxes we pay the government. It's correct, Ivan?
Yes,
For,
yes.
for short term.
I think
that
yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
if you want to run a legal business, we should support the government. We pay the taxes, and the government support us back and give us the same benefits that other hospitality business are enjoying. I think we should expect this.
Yep. So I think to add on what Judy said to the question, by the way, sorry, from who is this now? The text from Keith. Okay.
Keith, right?
So yeah, Keith. If you're asking about what the proposed plan here, of course, to be frank, we do not touch about on the tax part when it comes to the communication with government side. But what our stand here is that we comply, like what Judy say, we're going to, comply and follow. Very fair, do business, you must pay tax lah. This is very common sense. We have to comply. That's number one. If the tourism also apply into industry, you have to pay as well. So tourism tax. I think other than that, what any other tax that imply at the moment, I think we are not in the position to answer because there's no final framework come out first. But at the end of the day, as long as the tax actually is a fair, right? So it had to pay, then we pay lah, right? I mean, this is what our stand. So in the past, actually, your business tax and tourism tax is already there in the market lah. So for the past. Okay, so I hope the answer. Yep.
Right, so that's regarding tax. So we have a questions from Benny Wee. What is the criteria to join as member? Must we own a homestay business or a tech provider also can?
I think to answer that, the entire association, actually, we have few vertical here, right? I think we're going to update this also in our social medias. We will actually do not only limit for so-called host operator. We would like to actually, build the entire eco balance in a way, different stakeholder from other than host. Like we have travel tech, we have partners OTA, we have different stakeholder who actually contribute the entire eco or STRA actually are welcome to join.
So
Okay.
in summary, to answer your question, Benny, yes, you can.
Yes, yes.
So
but however, when you join, basically, the registration, once you key in, you insert, right? So there will be a membership in charge will filter first, right? So to check through whether you are fall into which verticals. But yes, feel free actually to
just
fill in
the
them
form
first. first.
Yes. So there's something from CH. Hi all, just my 2 cents on a night cap of 180 nights. If that really happens, people will still find loopholes to do things against the regulation, like running the STR business offline. That is something that government may need to consider as well. So I think this is a real good point from CH. So I think we'll keep this in mind. So while we propose it to the government. So Benny Wee is saying that certainly like to contribute to the hospitality market through hardware automations. Thank you very much. Keith, thank you very much, Ivan and Judy. KK, how to register? Thanks. Okay, so on registration, we will send in the registration form inside the meeting chat so that you can go into it to register. Okay. All right, so there it is, Benny and KK. Some CC, is staycation a good direction for us to prepare now, since we might be in a situation where we can only travel within states for a very long period after this? Would you anyone would like to take this question? Any panelists?
Okay, so maybe let me answer from my personal point of view. Is staycation actually good direction? People has been talking staycation, so especially for these 2 years. Let's actually look at because of I think reason last week we have the digital marketing forum. I think we talked about this 10-kilometer madness, right? Because people were focusing on make sure you are within the 10 kilometers. You cannot go beyond 10 kilometers. But what surprisingly was actually it is true that this distance limitation of 10 kilometers actually creates some opportunity as well. because now people actually cannot travel far, where a lot of people, after they staying at home for so long, they're kind of bored, right? They're looking for places actually for away from their home to work and stay, and we call it workation. So they just want to work, no longer staycation. So work plus vacation, right? So we call it workation, and this is something we see it. There is actually a demand and opportunity is there. So imagine, so with so much of friends here, cannot tahan anymore, at home, the kids were so noisy, run here and there, it is true, so those who have kids will agree with me, have to cook there and work here and then running a meeting, your kids is here and there. Sometimes people just want to, for a few days perhaps away from their home, but couldn't travel so far. So they got to book a places where close to their home, just for a quiet moments, to work, for preparing some projects and planning. So we see that, so that actually demand is there. And staycation, in short, that if you are in the market, I will still believe, right, the opportunity is always there, right? But if you're talking about travel state, no, because anyway, we can't travel. But try to actually look at what is opportunity around you, with your property around. There are always an opportunity. I think like what Glenn has said earlier, running a villa. You see, we also have properties that's running a villa for the past a year, right? And what happened was because of the business traveler, top management from corporate, right? Because of hotel was actually couldn't run events, conference and hall. So what these people do, basically they go and book for a villa, a private, so for a top management for have a business retreat, brainstorming, discussion and so on. So, and what happened was the business doing very well, right? Of course, not this FMCO, I'm talking about prior this FMCO. So the demand is still there, you see. This is what we see that people was claiming market, here and there, but there are people still doing well. So hope that this, some of the things that we found out, give you some ideas.
All right, thank you very much, Ivan. So there's another question from Joey. Is it legal now for guests, because she got put the thing as well, so is it legal now for guests to check in for staycation if it's 10 km radius?
If you're talking about the current SOP, by right, actually, no, we couldn't actually take any check-in. I think most of the building, condos, apartment, JMB, MC, I am sure that actually you will have received the notice, right? It is actually couldn't actually take any. Don't say about Airbnb, even a long-term tenant also could not allow to move in, right? So if you answer you by right, actually cannot.
Yep.
Yes. So it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, panels. I'm running a small potato kichimia homestay operator company here. Somehow it runs smoothly. This is my rice bowl here. If government really put a night cap in 90 to 180 days thing, I'm screwed and need to close down at I think. So hope Avengers team here really can help us speak to government or Thanos and fight for us. Really thank you for you guys for doing what you're doing and speak with government and protect us. So thanks, appreciated. Oh, okay. So this is a statement, appreciation statement.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, talk about this, right? I mean, just now we talk about Japan, Minpaku, and then they actually already done this 180. I mean, of course, we talk about a lot of the impact on the adverse side, but also the positive side that happens in after this Minpaku is that after that, because actually they implement this based on location. So after that, guess what? The state price of the whole location, right, it actually double up because it's actually it's actually based on location, so no one can escape. So after that, right, that is actually then I mean you work less, but you get higher paid, basically. So just a little bit feedback from that.
That is actually very true. That is actually very true. Price did increase right after that.
So what I'm trying to say is that there are always hope. There are always things that we can do. So we try to do our best,
Yep.
Okay, now it's 9:53. I'd like to wait. There's one last
Okay, I think Jaden was
question from
Jaden.
Jaden's camera is like
Freeze.
Yes.
freeze.
Freeze.
Yes.
Your
Are you
internet
back?
connection is unstable. Yes, I'm back. Okay, so I'm gonna open it up for this last question already, which is from Ken. So after this, we're gonna wrap it up. Okay. So seeing my internet also like cannot tahan already, need to rest already. So as a good operator, I'm not doing it while there's others hosts doing it. So wait, no. I think I missed out. Doing what? As a good operator, I'm not doing it while there are other operators or hosts doing it. So what should I do if they
I
continue
think
doing
check
it?
in, isn't it? They check in during the MCO
Oh, you
period.
mean like doing now? I see. Hosting guests. Continue doing it. Management, government, anyone start hating short stay we do in the building because it's quite a number of owners staying in the building. Should I report it, or where can I report it if management are closed, etc.? So what should you do if somehow or rather you find out that other hosts are basically still hosting guests during this period of time because they are afraid that it would turn the name of STRA sour because you are not following SOP. So what should you do? Judy, I think, are you muted?
I think we let the floor answer because this is very individual, I feel. It's not right, but it's very individual.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with Judy's lah. So I think as we say very clearly, being a professional, right? So we should actually follow the SOP. So that's what we can say, right? So we actually be a role models, right? We starting from so what we should do first, right? Sometimes you can't actually it is beyond your control, just like after a year of SOP, there are people still don't know how to follow SOP, don't know how to scan, don't know how to register and so on. I think this is all about sometimes beyond what we can do. But my advice, like what Judy says, is that we do our own part, right? Be responsible as a host in our community and our building, right? That's what we do. Okay, so I think it's the time, maybe Jaden. So
yes,
you want to
my
take
boss already asked me to close down already.
No, I think actually perhaps before some of friends who going to want to take a group photo first,
Yes. So everyone, can we open up
Right,
your
yes.
cameras? Okay, can we open up your cameras? Okay, so that we can take a group photo together. Let me remove spotlight from all of us first. Okay, Ivan, could you do the honors to help take the pictures?
Yeah. Sure, I can do that.
Remove spotlight. So everyone, can I urge you to not just join MVR but also open your cameras now so that we can take photo together. Okay. Come, let's see more faces. Let's see more faces.
Okay, right. So try your best actually to show if you okay. So okay, going to smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, wait, give me for the second page. Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, so thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, panelists, for the amazing, insightful sharing and information for tonight. And also thank you all of the participants for staying with us up to now. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is that everyone. So for those of you who have yet to follow us on our social media, you can go into Facebook to find us in Malaysian Vacation Rental. So you can join us in follow our Facebook as what Ivan mentioned just now. There'll be a lot more activities that will be updated through the social media page of MVR. Okay, so you can go into this, find this, and you can just follow us, right? And the next thing that I'd like to invite you to participate as well is to join the MVR as a member. Okay, so this is MVR membership. You can go into our website, okay, www.vacationrental.org.my, and then you scroll down there to click on the join now button to join as a member, or you could just simply scan this QR code and you will directly be directed to the Google form for your registration. After your registration, the committee members will contact you to identify your vertical and as well to follow up with you on this. So why you should join? Number one, there's free courses to upskill, as most of you has mentioned. Judy just now inside the meeting chat, it's one of it. Okay, you will have access to networks and resources. You will have a support community. You have access to latest news and updates. You have a channel to voice out your concerns, and last but not least, a lot more other benefits that will come to you, brought to you specially by MVR. All right, that's all for tonight. Thank you very much, everyone, and I hope to see you again really soon, and have a good night rest. Stay optimistic, stay healthy, go for your vaccination. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.